This video is brought to you by the EA Creator Network. Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Saturday, I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. Today we're back, we're building in Copperdale, we're building on the smallest lot that's shipped with the pack The Sims 4 High School Years. If you're not familiar with that pack, it's our brand new expansion pack that just landed this past Thursday, I believe. I'm doing a slightly smaller lot today. I did build a high school for my very first build with this pack. I'll link it up in the top right hand corner for you now if you want to check that out. If you're not familiar with that one, I built on a 64 by 64 lot and I made a high school essentially. So I was thinking, okay, let's just recharge our batteries a little bit and let's do something a little bit smaller. So this is what we came up with. We ended up building this really cutesy blue suburban house and I'm obsessed with how this looks, how it came out. I put a teaser image of this on my community tab on YouTube and then also on Twitter as well. So if you want to follow my social medias, I'll pop them on screen for you now as well if you're not following me already. I do post a lot of behind the scenes footage and you guys seem to really like this house and I must say I really like it too. Now you might be surprised to know that this actually has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It also has a separate dining room as well. I am thrilled with the floor plan of this house. I cannot believe how many bedrooms I actually managed to fit. Initially when I built this last night I thought, okay, well maybe I can fit like maybe 2-3 bedrooms at an absolute push, and then when I came to it this morning I was like, let's just see what I can do with this floor plan. So it ends up being 4 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms is a teen room and it's on the ground floor. I hope that's not too much trouble for you guys. I just figured rather than adding like a study or something like that, maybe that was like a reception room for the house, but then they've just turned it into like a teen room for one of the teens. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get onto the interior. We are currently working on the exterior here. You can see that the shape has already begun. I do end up changing this roof here, as I was just saying. It magically appeared on screen. It's almost like I planned it. So what I end up putting here is these windows here, the ones with like the crisscross pattern, they're from Snowy Escape. They're some of my favourite windows that we have in game. I think they work really well with suburban houses. I have used them in the past. I think they work fantastically well. The other windows that I used here are actually from the High School Years pack, and these windows are actually, your Sims can interact with these windows, so your teens can actually sneak out of the windows and they can climb down the trellis on this side of the house. So that was really important to me. I figured if you guys wanted a really solid house for some gameplay, this kind of fits the bill really. It has absolutely everything you could possibly need and it was really important for me to get this somehow fitted into the build. I did play test this myself. It works like a dream, so I'm hoping it works for you guys as well. What I do end up doing off camera is I add like a little platform or deck just at the base of where the trellises are with some steps, so your Sims can actually maneuver as they need to basically. So I'm hoping that you really enjoy this. I had a really good time watching the teen sneak through the window, so I'm hoping that you guys have some fun with that. So yes, this is what I end up doing. So this like little balcony bit here, I end up just putting like some crisscross sort of patterns on it. I thought that looked really nice, and then I also end up adding 2 seats there as well, just so that your Sims can sort of chill out there, catch some rays, maybe have a morning coffee. That balcony does lead off from one of the teen rooms, obviously because I'm thinking gameplay wise that's how the teens will be sneaking out of the house. So as far as I'm aware, the other windows in the build are not functional. From what I've researched, the windows are only functional if you use the trellis as well. I don't think they can just like climb out of the window then climb down the house. I believe that the trellis has to be used, so this is how I utilized the trellis. I'm hoping you really like this. I don't normally add things like this to builds, but the items sort of gave me an opportunity to do that, so I think it works really well. I'm obsessed with the colour scheme of this house. I know people have been saying that the lighting is quite harsh in Copperdale, and I would absolutely have to agree with that. It's very bluey greeny. However, I do believe somewhere that the Sims team is aware of this and they are working on a fix. I think because I use the Dove preset with G-Shade, I don't think I notice it as much, so I obviously can't see what people without G-Shade or Reshade can see, so I don't think I can sort of appreciate just how harsh it is. But I can see it's harsh here, but I actually don't mind it with this preset. I think it actually looks really nice. You might disagree, I don't know. I think it looks really nice. Anyway, this is the landscaping on the front. I kept this very simple and I sort of stuck with this very simple interior. It's still cluttered, it still looks lived in, but throughout the house I wanted it to be really gameplay friendly, just like my high school. I'm trying to keep that in mind more when I do my builds. It's all very well doing these builds that are full of clutter and details, but if you and your Sims can't use them properly, then there's really no point. So I've definitely, excuse me, again, been keeping that in mind when I've been doing more of my recent builds. So this is the interior. As you can see, it's not a big house, so again, I'm quite proud of the fact that we managed to fit 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms in here. So I am just trying to work out the floor plan here. There is a bathroom on the ground floor, and then there is a further 2 bathrooms on the top floor. Like I said, one of the bedrooms is on the ground floor here. It's the bottom left one. There. Bottom left as you're looking now. So it's quite a big bedroom. Initially I was thinking that could be like the kitchen, living room, and then I did switch things around after I started putting down like placeholder items. I started to realize that there was a better way for me to utilize the space. So as you can see, I've just popped a bed in there. I initially was going to put that room there with the sofa in it as the living room, and then I ended up switching that out and that ends up being the kitchen, which I think just works a lot better. The upstairs was a little bit more tricky to try and solve in terms of the floor plan, I think, but I think we got there in the end, so that's all that matters really. So you just see me here, I'm just trying to see, because I wanted the master bedroom to have an ensuite. When I do houses, more often than not, the master bedrooms have en suites. Unfortunately with this house, it just wasn't possible with the floor plan, so the teen up here has an ensuite, but then the parents and the child sim have access to just the main bathroom. But there are 3 bathrooms in this house, so your Sims aren't going to be fighting for any space in sort of that sense. So yeah, this is just me. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be the master bedroom, but where is the bed going to go, where your Sims are actually going to be able to fit in here? So I ended up just changing it up slightly, and this is what I ended up doing, and I think it works really, really well. Again, just putting some placeholder items in each of the rooms. I don't often do this. For some reason with this house, I felt the need to do it because I was feeling like it just wasn't clicking in my brain. Like normally I remember where certain rooms are, and with this house it just wasn't. This is the living room. I ended up going through a few different swatches with flooring because I was initially thinking that I could use carpet, but instead I end up landing on this really nice dark brown wooden flooring, which is now in the base game. I believe this came with the most recent patch. I'm obsessed with it. I used this in the high school, but in the more orangey like beach swatch, and I think that worked really well, and I think it works really well in this house. So with the interior for this house, as I was explaining just earlier on, I definitely wanted it to be, I didn't want it to be matchy, I didn't want it to be stylish, I didn't want it to be too clean looking. I just wanted it to be a really homey, friendly family home, and I think I pretty much nailed it. I'm really happy with the interior of this house actually. I like doing things like this sometimes because it just puts me out of my comfort zone that little bit more. With my more recent family houses, I've definitely kept them very like show homey, and they're just very picturesque looking. And I think with this one, although it's really sweet inside, like I really like how it looks, it's definitely not, you wouldn't find this house in a magazine, like a design magazine or anything like that. It's just really friendly, and you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below, what you think of this sort of style. But I would definitely like to do more houses in this sort of style because I had so much fun creating this house, I can't even tell you. And just while I'm thinking about it, I think the exterior of this house only took me about 40 minutes to actually pull together. That includes like all in, you know, with like the trellis and the balcony and the landscaping, everything. The interior took me, I would say, 2.5 hours. So all in all, we're looking at about 3 hours for the build. I don't think that's too bad, really, when I was like taking breaks on and off, going to get drinks, because this office is very warm at the moment. Obviously, I can't have my fan on while I'm doing the voiceover. I don't know what relevance that has to what I was talking about, but it doesn't matter. So really like the colour scheme in this living room. I digress. I really like the colour scheme in this living room. I think it looks really nice with like the dark brown and the green tones and like the pops of like the more pastel-y colours. I think it just works really well. And as I was saying, whilst it's not too matchy, I just think I'm really happy with it. It's the kind of house that you get the sense of what kind of family lives here. Or at least I think so. You can disagree, that's absolutely fine. But I didn't want it to necessarily be like run down and messy. I definitely wanted to get across that the family care about the house that they're in, and it's just a home that they've made their own over the years. And while, you know, there might be some little bits that maybe need some TLC, they definitely take pride in where they live. And I wasn't necessarily thinking that the family that lives here was particularly rich or anything like that, but they're not poor either. You know, it's just like a sort of like middle class suburban home. And that's kind of the sort of theme that I was going for. Here you'll see me struggling. I was trying to clutter up the coffee table a little bit. I actually spent, I think, about how many minutes did I spend trying to find a remote control? It was embarrassing. I was trying to find the remote control from the debug menu, and for some reason I could not find it, so I didn't end up putting it on the coffee table. So it doesn't really matter. I don't know what relevance that has either, but I just thought I'd mention it. So this is the dining room. It's a very small dining room, but it's functional as well. And whilst I'm thinking about it, you can fit up to 5 Sims in this house. So the dining room table only has 4 chairs. However, in the kitchen there's also like an island with 2 bar stools on it, so I thought that kind of made up for that. And also the family can obviously sit and eat in the living room if they want to. There's also like a bay window sofa in the kitchen as well, so if they want to eat there then they can do that as well. So I thought that was really nice. But I just love the vibe of this house. I think I'm kind of obsessed with it, to be honest. And I think it just, time seemed to just go very, very quickly as I was doing this house. And I suppose that's a sign that you're doing something that you love, right? So I'm really proud of this. I'm so proud. I hope you have a use for it. While I'm thinking about it as well, this house is not pack restricted. I didn't restrict the packs, so I did use quite a few. If you are curious as to which packs I used, you can check this house out on the gallery, and it does list which packs were used. If you don't have some of the items from certain packs, then just feel free to replace them with items that you have from packs that you do have. I don't think it would take too much at all. Initially I was going to do this house as base game and high school years only, but we do have a build coming with that very shortly. With this one I just didn't want to restrict myself. So this is the kitchen. I do end up using the counters from the Parenthood pack because it's not very often that I can use this white and black swatch. I just think it worked really, really well with the vibe and the colour schemes that we were going for in this particular build. So yeah, I decided to use them. It's also not very often that I use cabinets that match the counters. Normally I mismatch them. Again, with this house I decided not to. And then we do end up going for this really nice tile here as well. I think this tile also came from Parenthood. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost positive it did. I wasn't thinking necessarily like grungy. I was just thinking more like maybe the family, they might need to update the tiles in the house because all the bathrooms have the same tiles too, which I thought was a really nice idea. So maybe that, like, stuff like that just needs a little bit of updating, but they don't mind. It doesn't matter. All they're bothered about is that they have a warm, safe home for their family, and then that's kind of all that matters to them, really. So I really like how this kitchen came out. Actually, it's very different from my usual style, but as is the entire house. So I just wanted everything to sort of match. I wanted everything to just be really fluid throughout the whole house, and I'm hoping we got there. I think we did. I didn't go too clutter mad, as I was saying, because I was focused more on gameplay, so I don't think it took me as long because obviously I wasn't doing as much clutter as well, so it was like a win-win for everybody, really. If you do have any routing issues, I apologise, but I did playtest this build within an inch of its life to make sure that everything was functional. I was lighting the fire, making sure all the beds were functional as well, and just making sure that your Sims could cook a meal and making sure that your Sims can sit down and enjoy that meal. They can watch TV, they can do what they need to do. So If you do experience some issues, I apologise, but this did work perfectly for me. This is what I was saying. So initially I was just going to put like a little chair here, so maybe like when mum and dad are cooking, one of the kids can come and sit and have a chat, or maybe like that's just a little chair that you can enjoy your morning coffee on. But then I decided to add it was like the little bay window bench from the Cats and Dogs pack. In a very unusual swatch. You're going to be very taken aback by the swatch I decided to use, I think. It doesn't match the kitchen at all, but again, I didn't want this house to be too matchy, so like this is the one that we went for, and then I thought this rug that came with the high school years pack just went so nicely with it. I just think it's kind of, it doesn't match at all, and I can imagine that they probably went to a store and picked up this bench and then put it there and then got a rug to match, then just hoped that it would tie the rest of the room in, and it just doesn't. It sticks out like a sore thumb. So it was completely intentional, again, just thinking about the personalities of the Sims that move in here. As always, if the colour scheme isn't really for you, but you like the items, then feel free to change the swatches. Feel free to change whatever you want to change to make this suitable for you and your Sims. I really don't mind. I'm not going to take it personally if you decide to change some of the colour schemes or some of the items, because we don't all have the same taste, of course. So I do end up putting this little hallway table here as well from the Cats and Dogs pack. That is my all-time favourite hallway table. I use it in 99.9% of my builds. I have spoken about this before, but I just think it works really well. So this is the downstairs bathroom. It does have a like a bath shower combination in here, as well as a toilet and a sink. I thought it was really important because this house does have, in my head, it had 2 adult Sims, 2 teens, and then a child as well. So I was just thinking like it just kind of works. Now, I'm very excited for this. This is the first teen room, and it's my favourite bedroom in the entire house. It's my first look at the bedroom items that came with the high school years pack, so I was very excited to be able to use these in a bedroom setting. As I said, the only build I've done so far with this new pack is a high school, so obviously I wasn't using beds or any of these like bedroom posters or any of the rugs really, so it was just really nice for me to have a flick through the catalogue and see what I could come up with. Again, it's mismatched. I was thinking that this Sim perhaps likes music, and they're also really into gaming as well. I believe that the 2 teens, they both have gaming PCs in their bedrooms, and they both have desks. In my head, I'm thinking that both teens probably have part-time jobs on the side to be able to afford such computers, but anyway, I really like the colour scheme of this room. I did revolve it around this bed, but keeping that in mind, I definitely didn't match absolutely everything to the bed, because this teen, as with the other kids in this house, they've put together their own room. Mum and Dad have said, look, that's your space, that's your room, you can do with it whatever you want to do. So this is what they decided to do with it. It's a little bit messy. We do add some clutter around here and there. Your Sims can still get to the bed, do not worry. I did play test this, as I was saying, so they can still get to the bed. I love this like little, I think for me it looks like a beanbag chair. I don't know if it is a beanbag chair, but I love it in this like checkered green swatch. It looks fantastic. I love it so much. I've used it a couple of times throughout the build in various swatches. I just love the way it looks. Over here they do have like a little rundown TV. They probably got it from like a second-hand store or something for like, you know, 50 simoleons or something like that, so that was the thought process there as well. This is the bay window where the office desk is. I think they're really, this Sim in particular is really into gaming and into music, possibly into doing like a little bit of music production as well, maybe on the computer and things like that. I did try and refrain from using the items that you get when you pre-order the pack, because obviously I don't know futuristically how many people will have the access to those items, so I don't believe I used any of them. If I did, I apologise. I think the only item I potentially used from that was the gaming chair, possibly in one of the rooms, because I know one of the gaming chairs came with like the early access, getting the pack before a certain date. I can't remember which one I used. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So then I just go back and start pulling out different posters all over the wall, and look at it. I just love the sort of look and design that we've gone for with this room. It looks really lived in, and it's just full of personality, which is exactly what I wanted to try and portray with this room. Now we do move on to the upstairs. This is the bedroom where your Sims can sneak out of. This is the bedroom off the balcony. So with this room here, I went through a couple of different colour options, and then I ended up landing on like a powder blue soft wood theme. Again, I didn't really have specific genders in mind for any of the bedrooms either, so like you could move whatever Sim you want to in here. I definitely didn't do like one that was overly pink or one that was overly blue or anything like that. I didn't do that. What I wanted to try and make sure I did was portray that each of the Sims had different tastes and different hobbies and things like that. But yeah, this one is definitely a lot softer than the one downstairs. I don't like this as much, I think because I was restricted with the shape, and then of course with the windows that they can sneak out of onto the deck. Like I was quite restricted with this. Had that wall there been like just a plain wall, and if I could have just popped it out one square further, I think I could have made this room a little bit more, just more, I guess. But I worked with the space that I had. I still think it has personality. It's really nice that I used a different colour scheme as well, and it was nice to see like different items in different settings. I did use the little hanging egg chair as well, because I was like, as soon as I saw that on the like, you know, when we got like the teaser trailer, I was like, I have to use that in a build because that is just adorable. I would love one of them in real life actually. I'd probably be tempted to put it in my garden, but I would love one of them in real life. So this bedroom is almost finished. Again, this Sim also has a gaming PC in their room, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they're into music. They're probably more into gaming, unlike their other sibling. So that was what I was trying to get across here. And how cute is this wardrobe? Sorry, but like, how cute is that wardrobe? I'm obsessed with it. It's so nice. And then all these little neon signs as well. I love the build and buy that came with this pack. I'm truly obsessed. I really am. Like these curtains here, it's just, oh, it's so cute. Sorry, then I just add a couple of chairs out on the deck here, as I was saying, so that your Sims can just enjoy just being out there. If they have a sleepover, they can have a look out, you know, when they're looking at the stars or whatever. So in my head, this room here is for a child Sim, or a Sim that's just become a teenager, or a Sim that's about to be a teenager. Again, didn't have a specific gender in mind, but I did revolve most of the colour scheme around this blue and red bed that I have used previously. I love this bed. I've talked about this bed many times. I'm obsessed with this bed. I don't think I can get that across. Anyway, similar sort of setup here. This Sim also has a television, but they don't have a computer, I don't think. No, they don't. This Sim doesn't have a computer, but I'm obsessed with the posters that came with the high school years pack. I love all the different swatches, because we've got like different sort of layouts of the posters with each swatch, different colour schemes, different themes. Obsessed. I did try and put a desk in here, and then I very quickly pulled away from that and replaced it with a bookcase. Sorry, Sim, you've got probably the more boring room out of the three younger Sim rooms, but I really like how this turned out as well. The only thing I did do off camera is I changed the little beanbag chair to the red swatch, because I thought it tied in a little bit better with the bed, and it made a bit more of a contrast against all the rest of the blue that was in the room. But then I just add like this little trophy sort of shelf, and then I put a little plant there as well. And then what else do I put in this room? I'm just trying to think. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I put this clutter from the... Is that from the Parenthood pack? I think it is from the Parenthood pack. These Sims aren't particularly clean, but what kids' room is clean that you know? Because I don't know any kids that are. So again, bringing in that realism. And then we work on the last bedroom, which is the master bedroom. This is definitely very... I'd say plain and boring. This build definitely revolves more around the teens of the family rather than the parents, but it's still a really nice room. It's really fun and fresh, but I'm going to start wrapping up because we're almost at the end of the video. So you can get this house from the gallery right now. My origin ID, of course, is Rachel Ped. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from Simfile Share. But thank you very much once again, everyone, for joining me here today. You all take care. Have an amazing weekend, amazing week, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye!